Every time I see you walking out my door, I wanna grab a frying pan and lay you out on the floor. That filth you talk, that stench just flies out of you. I should have listened, yeah, I should have.
Well, I'm back again. Here we are, PCP, political commentary page. I am the lost American coming at you from Europe somewhere, in a small little farming village surrounded by 11 houses, 732 chickens, 14 cats, and 5 dogs, and some farmers here and there. So, I was on earlier today, and we had a short chat. And I figured I'd jump back on this evening, which is what I usually intend to do. This is a live call-in program. Anybody can, call in and say what's on your mind. Whatever it is, whatever your opinion is, give it to me. Yeah? Let people hear it. And you might have something in your head that I might have never thought of, and it would make me look at things a little bit differently. And, of course, vice versa. Yeah, hopefully, unless you and I are too set in our ways, which is possible. That's also a bad thing, too. Anyway, I was working on the house today. I'm remodeling a house, and while I do that, I like to listen to podcasts and whatnot. And are Republicans always so religious? There seems to be this religious undertone to them, almost an annoying aspect. At least for me, it is. Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem with it, but when I hear somebody say, I live in the greatest country in the whole world, which is bullshit, but let's just go ahead and say it anyway. I live in the greatest country in the whole world, and God loves my country. Now, what kind of person is that thinks God has a favorite country? Like God favors this country more than that country? Do Republicans really think that? Do all of them think that? Or just a few? And if it is just a few, it's sad to say that it's some powerful few. Yeah? I was listening to a talk show host today, and God, I just couldn't get over it, really. I mean, it turned me off so much. I mean, I love listening to different opinions. Yeah, and looking at things from a different perspective, but come on. How brash can you be to say God loves my country more than yours? Or he has blessed my country and he spit on yours? What type of person is that to have that type of thought? I mean, that to me is just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. But I guess, I guess that's one reason why maybe so many people are turned off with that. I mean, I'm turned off by it. But, I'm not a religious lunatic either. I'm pretty much open to anything like that. But anyway, there's our Discord call-in line and our Skype call-in line. All you got to do is send an invite to Skype and I will accept it. And then I'll throw you on and see what you got to say. So we talked about a few things earlier today. One of them was the murder hornets, the death-defying murder hornets, and and they called the people who they stung victims. I mean, do you ever say I was a victim of a bee sting? Or I was that bee's victim? And you just say, no, I was stung by a bee. because I don't think they go out and look for victims. They just go out and sting people, I guess. I've jumped on the internet and found a couple of interesting articles here and stories I'd like to share with you. Amidst all this coronavirus going down, we are also in the midst of a election year. 2020. It looks like, as it is right now, it's going to be Donald Trump and Joe Biden, although, mark my words, they're either going to replace Joe Biden or they've got to find some type of running mate that will make up for his inefficiencies, which are vast. I'm curious if Barack Obama will be his running mate. I mean, that is possible. Or Michelle Obama. That would be something, no? And if that were the case, we all know that it would be Barack Obama who's pulling the strings of the presidency if he were to run and if they were to win. And depending on how things go down from now until then, I would say from now until June, July, August, September, October, September. September. Beginning of the school year in the U.S., September. It depends on how things go from now to then, If Joe Biden and he does pick Barack Obama or Michelle Obama to be his running mate, and the economy is still shut down, and the coronavirus cases are going to rise, which we all know they will. More people will die, and more people will get sick. Then there is a chance that a Biden-Obama ticket will win the presidency. There is a chance, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Elizabeth Warren as a running mate. I mean, I'm not a Democrat hater. I mean, I think there was a time where I think I probably put myself in that camp. Although I never really put myself in any camp because apparently, the Democrats are somewhat, gun reform. I won't say exactly anti-gun, but maybe I'm mistaken. And I have always been pro-gun rights. So, okay. Not quite sure. I never considered myself conservative by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I think anybody should be able to put anything in their body that they want to. Period. I think people own themselves. I have no issue with people, homosexuals, gay, lesbian, or whatever you LBGWXYZ. I just got lost, I have no idea. I got no issue with that. So on that aspect, I can't be Republican, right? So, here I am stuck in the middle. I think this is a good idea. I think that's a good idea. But I think the parties keep it that way to create a facade that there is a difference between they want to run the country, how they want to run the country. Though, given with the things that are going on recently, it seems like, I don't know, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the Democrats are really pushing for a mother-father government role, statehood. Yeah, they want to control everybody's life. I mean, the Republicans come out and say that, the Democrats want to run your life. They want to have more and more government, which is true. But, let's play fair here. The Republicans do their fair share of controlling too. Is it a woman's right to choose or not? What about this stupid drug war? Do people have the freedom of choice or not? So, it's two parties, one system. But this they're talking about a new government bailout bill, stimulus bill. Yeah, the Democrats want to put out another stimulus bill to help the economy, which most Democrat governors have destroyed. And now I guess they want to put out a stimulus bill to give money, for people who are hurting from this. I have this Democrat stimulus bill, testing, reporting, surveillance. Boy, that's a scary word. Surveillance. House Democrats' latest bill to juice the economy. You want an easy way to juice the economy? Yeah, I could tell you. I think all of the business owners who are reduced to unemployment, employees who are reduced to unemployment could tell you the easiest way to juice the economy. Let them open their business. And secure the nation's health is full of goodies for healthcare, like a $100 billion fund to providers and hospitals. To secure the nation's health. Secure the nation's health. How dare you say that the government wants to secure the nation's health? In the state in which you live, who owns, or who do you need to get permission from to operate and own a liquor store? The government, right? Your state. You can't run one on your own. And in some states, there's a big, huge tax on that. I mean, they collect a tax on alcohol. Nation's health. Boy, that's laughable. I mean, let's take a look at their healthcare system in the states. That's downright disgusting. Am I for a social health plan? No, I'm not. So what's the problem in the U.S.? I mean, if they have the money, if they spend more money than all countries combined just on their military to their citizens, and they could, but they won't, that would be bad for the insurance companies. That would be bad for the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, why is it that a medicine costs 300% cheaper south of the border or north of the border? Why is that? It's the same medicine, right? Same dosage. So why is it more expensive in America? Not because of the health care. It's not because of your insurance. It's because of government intervention in both of them. So don't give me this bullshit about the subway. I live in Germany, by the way. I passed out on the subway. Low blood sugar. And I came to, and there were two paramedics over me. And they put me on a gurney. And they took me to the ambulance. Now, it is a lie when you hear that everybody in Germany has health care or everybody in Europe has health care. That's a lie. People fall through the cracks. Myself, I came here, I just never bought it. So I was here without it. And I looked at the ambulance drivers, they looked at me, and I said, no, I'm fine. And they said, don't worry. You're in Germany. It's paid for. Well, we all know it's not paid for. Yeah, sure. It's paid for by my neighbors, by other people, because of the huge tax rate we have here. Pay like 45% in taxes here. Very high. And a lot of that goes into the healthcare system. But yeah, anyway, I didn't go. I just don't like hospitals. People die there. Let's take a look at this article again. But the greatest interest to health tech watchers is the spat of proposals to enhance testing, reporting, and public health surveillance. The bill includes $75 billion for testing and surveillance. I'm curious, has anybody out there gone to one of these testing stations? Have you yourself been tested? I mean, these are voluntary, right? I mean, I've seen some on the news that they have like these drive-through testing areas. You roll your window down and you open your mouth, or they stick a Q-tip up your nose. And that's that? Really? I mean, have you actually seen one of these? Or have you partaken in one of these? I'm curious. I mean, I haven't seen those here. That's just creepy. That's creepy. Let's see. It would require laboratories to send daily reports on coronavirus tests and their results. And HHS would have to make that data public. The bill would require manufacturers of diagnostics to tell the department how many tests they have distributed. Oh, that they are distributing. See, the bill also targets public health technology. Public health agencies rely on rickety IT surveillance systems, missing tons of data, and case reporting systems or two. Now, this is spooky right here. And I hope that other people other than me see the dangers here connected with this. I want to look at it again. The bill also targets public health technology. As your correspondent has previously reported, should be as our correspondent, public health agencies rely on rickety IT, surveillance systems missing tons of data, and case reporting systems receiving paper and faxes. All right. You're going to put, already we have your health records are basically, for the most part, out of government's hands, unless you're on like a public healthcare system or something like that. But usually they're out of government's hands. They're in the hands of private insurance companies. And those records should be highly protected because they have your health history on it. And hackers would love to get that information. I don't understand how the government thinks it could be that they could help increase the security on that. Government is, for Christ's sake, you can't even secure the Pentagon. Yeah? You get hacked all the time. And the government is too stupid and too slow to get involved in blockchain technology. Blockchain technology has the advantage. It has the security to keep these records safe, to keep them from being manipulated in any way. Yeah, to decentralize them. But the government doesn't like the word decentralized. They want everything centralized so they can have the power over it. I've been involved in the cryptocurrency market, cryptocurrency world for quite a while, the blockchain industry. And there are many companies out there, startups and startups that have been there a while, that have solutions for this sort of procedure, keeping patients' records safe and secure using blockchain technology. But, governments are really slow on that. Private companies, they jump on the bandwagon. You got Bosch, they're interested. Porsche is into it. Mercedes-Benz, they all have a blockchain division. But governments, no. The Democrats' legislation pumps $130 million into public health data surveillance and analytics. It also requires HHS to publish a strategy, give out grants, and provide guidance as to best practices on surveillance and contact tracing. Of course, the $3 trillion legislation is just House Democrats' version of a stimulus bill. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is in no hurry to take up a new coronavirus rescue bill, so it is plausible none of these ideas get adopted by the full Congress. I hope not. I really hope not. There's not going to be a lot of good things in here. So, yeah, that's my take on that. It's going to be a lot of money. And if you really want a stimulus bill, like I said, you just basically allow people to go back to work. Yeah. And you yourselves, politicians, take a cut in pay or don't take any pay at all. Just like the people whom you have put out of work. Bastards. Oh, that's my dog. More if you can hear my dog. And one thing that's going to be hurting really bad is the movie industry. Yeah, little things like this, you know. People going to the movies and whatnot, and you would think that, well, maybe this will be a rebirth of drive-in movies. Nope. Why? It's too dangerous. At least in Washington State. Yeah. Drive-in movie theaters in Washington State can't open yet. These drive-in owners want to change that. Now, why can't they open? Tell me, why can't a drive-in movie where you are driving in your own car with a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, or perhaps double dating or a group of friends, and you stay in your frickin' car? You stay in your car. That's why it's called drive-in movie. I don't get it. Around the country, drive-in theaters are reopening as a socially distanced way of going to the movies. But Washington State's 5 drive-ins remain closed. We're ready to open. We're doing all the safety precautions, all the CDC guidelines, said Daryl Bratt. I really don't know if he sounds like that, but, you know, sounds like a Daryl. He's the owner of the Blue Fox Drive-In in Oak Harbor. On behalf of the theater and 4 other drive-ins in the state, the Skyline in Shelton, the Rodeo in Bremerton, the Auto View in Colville, and the Will Inn in Port Townsend, Bratt launched a Change.org petition late last week that, as of this writing, has more than 54,000 signatures. Not enough, dude. Gonna need more than that. The petition asks that drive-in theaters be allowed to operate during the corona restrictions, arguing that it isn't fair or consistent to consider a drive-in to be the equivalent of an indoor movie theater. That makes a lot of sense, you know. It states that patrons would be isolated within their cars. Yeah. Food service is all takeout. Mm-hmm. And that many other states have allowed drive-ins to remain open. Again, I've said this again. Brad, whatever your name is, again, you're dealing with the government. Stop trying to use common sense. They don't understand it. Bratt, who has owned the Blue Fox since 1988. Wow. He's operated this since 1988. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. That's great. To have a drive-in, even to have a drive-in still alive today is pretty remarkable. When was the last time you went to a drive-in? Have you ever gone to a drive-in? I mean, we sit at home, we watch Netflix, we watch Amazon Prime, we watch Hulu and Maxdome and all these other ones, you know? How many people really go into drive-ins? And for this guy to have operating that since 1988, he must be doing something right. I mean, really, he has survived. See, 1988, video, VHS. See, I remember my father bringing home a VHS when I was in high school. So, you know, so the VHS players, let me see, when they had rentals, 82, 83. Yeah. So people started watching movies at home back then. So this guy has survived VCRs. He has survived blockbusters. He has survived the birth of DVDs, of Blu-ray, of surround sound, of 5.1, 7.1, of projectors that people put in their house and project the movie on a big screen and have 7.1 surround sound. This guy has survived all of that. And he's even survived Netflix and Amazon and on-demand video. That's amazing. I mean, usually when your business is based around kind of like an old technology, you know, you go the way of the dinosaurs, but this guy's been around. I wonder if he's going to survive this. I wonder. Wow. Huh. Boy, if he doesn't, that's a real shame, you know? That's a real shame. Let's see here. Mike Falk, a spokesman for Inzel's office, said Tuesday in an emailed response to Seattle Times query, "It is possible we could consider drive-in movie theaters in phase 2. No decision has been made. Open this time. Donut shops? Well, I don't know. I don't really like donuts. People don't need to go there. That's non-essential." They're all pencil pushers, yeah? That's crazy. Well, I really do hope that this guy makes it. After all, he's survived quite a bit. So I hope he makes it. Look at this here. Oh, you can't see it. Here you go. Take a look at this. We got an advertisement here. Covering up matters. No so, zero human touch. This is going to be a fad. This is going to be a new fashion. Face masks. Yeah. It's going to be a new fashion. I'm telling you right now. It is. What else do I got here today on the story here? Yeah, this is included in that package that the Democrats want. Apparently, there's some other things involved in it. I got a video here, and we'll take a listen.
In the House, Nancy Pelosi and company have come up with an 1,800-page bill that would be essentially a $3 trillion rescue package that does all sorts of things, including $1 trillion to state and local governments, which is what they had wanted all along. $3 trillion is more than double what they had suggested before that they were going to ask for. Isn't this just the opening bid? You know, we need $1.5 trillion, so we'll ask for $3. That's how it works in your town.
No doubt about it. It's all part of the kind of dysfunction that's here. When I came, hundreds of billions used to be the big denomination. Now it's trillions. We have structural trillion-dollar deficits. We added $3 trillion in 3.5. Now asking for this is completely out of line, and yes, it's just a bargaining ploy. We are concerned about businesses opening up, being exposed to trial lawyers and frivolous lawsuits. That'll be the bargaining chip. Many of us that are true fiscal conservatives here are going to have trouble paying any price for something that we should do anyway, protecting businesses that are trying to get this economy going. So it's part of the song and dance here.
I don't see anybody out there protecting businesses. I really don't. I see business owners standing up and refusing these lockdown orders. That's what I see. That's what I've read. And they, no matter what, people like Nancy Pelosi or Donald Trump or any other politician, no matter what they say, those people, the people who are disregarding the orders from their state and going ahead and opening up anyway, those are the real heroes. Those people are. Not just for themselves, but for their employees also. Those people are the real heroes, not this clown. I mean, I just want to call them all clowns. They're all clowns. But apparently somewhere in this relief bill extends stimulus checks to certain undocumented immigrants. Yeah, this is another thing where I do not fall into the Republican camp whatsoever. I am for basically open borders. Pretty much. You want to come to my country? It's not your country, you dipshit. You don't own it. You're taxed to live there. You will always be taxed your whole life. You will never own your own house. You always have to pay taxes on it, period. So it's not your country. You just happen to reside there. And you were either lucky or unlucky enough to be born there. So I don't want to hear this argument where I don't want illegals coming into my country. It's not your country. Okay, then I won't say that. I don't want illegals coming into America. Okay, well, what makes them illegal? Well, they didn't go through the proper process. They want to come here, they got to come here legally. Damn it. Okay. Usually the people who come to America are coming there for, a very basic reason. A better life. A better life for themselves. Opportunities, perhaps, that they can't get in their own country. Maybe a better life for their families. They don't come here to rape people. They don't come here to steal. The exact same thing you would do. If you had no opportunities in your country, then you would look elsewhere. And in a lot of cases, let's say you wanted to move to France, yeah? America goes down the shithole, which it is doing. France is really no better, but I'm just using that as an example. Say you want to go to France and live in France. How much does that cost you? Well, it doesn't cost you much. You could become a permanent resident in that country. It doesn't cost a lot. You know how much it costs to come to America? You know how many thousands of dollars it cost just to get a green card? People who come here are coming here because they're broke. In order for them to come here legally, they would probably have to live their whole lives in their country, saving up every dime they had, and then they can come here when they're 70 years old. What point is that? It's not your country. You don't own it. Well, then just leave your front door open, idiot. Huh? Why don't you do that? Okay. That's an argument you hear. You want to open borders? Why do you lock your door at night? Well, people don't know me that well. I don't. But that's just because I don't want to look around for a key. But that's an argument that you hear. And I would have to say that basically the reason why I am for open borders, and I'm confused here. I'm looking at this chat. Hey, what up? I'm Wiz. I like rolling dice, eating, spreading unicorns propaganda. How you doing? Spreading unicorn propaganda. What is a unicorn? I know there has to be something else behind the obvious. Is that used for something? I mean, is unicorn, the word unicorn, is it used to describe a certain type of individual or a certain type of event or something like that? Or is it basically just, a mythical creature? I'm really confused, man. I really am. Because, I was playing D&D for the longest time, and we had, unicorns and stuff. But, union. Spreading union propaganda. Ah, I thought I said unicorn. My bad. People are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Unions are used for gaining better working conditions. Yeah, they are. The unions are used to gain better working conditions. Just as long as somebody is not forced to join a union, that's great. Yeah, as long as a union is voluntary, that's wonderful. I mean, I myself, I belonged to a union because basically only because of legal reasons. If I had an issue with my employer, they would provide a lawyer for me. That was it. I was asked, do I want to join? I say, yeah. And that's it. If someone were forced to join a union, that would make it a state. No, it would not, because you're not forced to join a state. A state doesn't force you to join. You don't have an option. You have no option. To force means, you've got a choice. You either do it or you're dead, or you end up going into prison. I mean, you have no choice. I mean, you could leave the state where you're born, or you're talking about a state or a government here. I'm not quite sure. But a union that forces people to join is no better than a state. Yeah, that would make sense to me, and I agree with that sentiment 100%. God, what the hell was I talking about before I got off on this? State is in the lawful manipulation of force. Lawful? There is no lawful manipulation of force. Where is that lawful? The state has a monopoly of the use of force. The police, but that's not lawful. The police are not lawful. The police break more laws than you and I combine in a single day. The military is not lawful. Under the rule of law, they are not lawful, and neither are the police. We give them this power. Society looks at them that way, but they're not lawful. Yes, they are authority. I'll give you that. Absolutely. They are authority, which is why every chance you get, when you speak to the police officer, don't say a fucking word. Yeah, the force. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at the chat here. I agree they don't abide by laws, but the use of force is legal for them to use. Yes, it is legal for them to use in certain situations, and even when the situation does not call for force, and they do use it, more often than not, they are found to be within the limits, and they're found to be, yeah, it's all right. It's okay, dude. I understand. Yes, that rake was definitely a lethal weapon, so you had every right to shoot him. Yeah? I mean, we've seen that time and time again. Yeah? Oh, he was coming at me with a garden hose. I was afraid for my safety and my partner's safety. And you look at the fucking partner. You look at the partner who did nothing. Yeah, who might have, pulled his gun out too because the guy was coming at him with a garden hose. I swear to fucking God, what is wrong with the police? Are they that pussified that they can't handle a guy with a garden hose? That they can't handle a 14-year-old kid without plummeting him to the ground and punching him in the face and the chest? Are they that so much out of shape? Are they that so afraid that all they can think of is to shoot? Shoot. Shoot. The lethal use of force. Capitalism is general, though. The idea of profit making needs to be reconsidered. Why? I mean, the only reason I'm asking that is because we don't have a capitalist system. We don't. I mean, profit is what drives companies to make a product. That's why they make it. If they have no profit, they're not going to make it. And if they don't make a good enough product, it's not going to sell. So capitalism does drive the economy, and it drives it in a positive way. If we were to have a true free market, which we do not, then I think we would be even seeing better things. You are assuming people's wealth is valued in people's demand? People's wealth is valued in people's... You mean The more people demand something, the more prosperous it will be. Sure, if that's what you're getting at. I don't understand with the people's wealth. Here we go. Oh, this Streamlabs thing. I don't understand that. I think it might be talking about profit of the owners as the means of production under a socialist system where currency still existed. Co-ops could still earn a profit. Oh yeah, co-ops can earn a profit. Sure, because there's a lots. Because lots are making tons of wealth out of thin air, which breaks your assumption. But who's making millions out of thin air? The only ones making millions out of thin air is the Fed, is the government. They make millions out of thin air with nothing to back it one bit. A company makes millions because they are offering a service or a product that the people want or that it is in demand. So I don't quite understand what you're talking about here. The only company, the only organization that makes money out of thin air is the government. Oh, I see. Trading shares and stock can generate tons of wealth. Sure, it can. But it also contains tons of risk. Yeah, if you want to get involved, then get involved. Renters like at Wizard's Bread Book. What is that? What are renters at Wizard's Bread Book? I don't know who they are. Someone needs to educate me on that. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about here. I'd like to know about it. Sounds interesting. Yeah, landlords are parasites. I don't understand why you say landlords are parasites. Why is a landlord a parasite? A landlord has a landlord says renters are like stock traders. Renters are like stock traders. And then we have landlords. Okay, let me get this straight here. Landlords are parasites. Landlords are feeding off their renters, correct? Because they're occupying a house that could be a homeowner. So what? You mean a renter? So what? They don't want to own a home. What's the issue with that? I mean, do you own a home? Owning a home is like a prison. I mean, I own a home, and sometimes I think to myself, God damn, I wish I didn't own this fucking house. There is so much involved in it. At least when you rent, I don't understand why you say it's better than renting. I don't. Yeah. Landlords generate wealth off the blood labor of others. They don't I don't understand that at all. Yeah, have to give me a logical... Man, if you want to call, there's a Discord call-in line. There's a Skype call-in line. Feel free to call and give me your thoughts. Let me know what you're really thinking. Because I'll tell you right now, a renter, if you're a renter, you have the freedom to leave that place anytime you want. You are not saddled with the repairs of that property. If the water boiler goes out, you're not saddled with that. If the heating system goes out, you don't have to pay for that. Yeah? The landlord has to pay for all the upkeep and repair of that building. He has to pay taxes on any profits that he makes on that building. The landlord is... Are you making... let me finish my thought here. The landlord is responsible for all of that. He doesn't have the luxury of calling somebody and say, hey, come out and repair it. Yeah? Are you making the capitalism is voluntary argument? Why? Capitalism is not voluntary. Don't you voluntarily go to a store and buy something? Don't you voluntarily rent a house? Don't you voluntarily buy a house? Basically, everything we do in our life, almost, we do voluntarily. It's only if the taxes that you pay, that's not voluntarily. You don't pay your taxes voluntarily, do you? You do it as a safety mechanism because you don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to jail. Also, the landlord pays for that maintenance out of my and others' rent. Yeah, and what about if the other renter's water heater goes out too, and everything else goes out too? He is on the hook for all of that. Yeah, I'm forced to by manipulation of force. Manipulation. The only thing I don't understand what you're forced to do. You're not forced to rent a home. You know what the issue is. You know what the issue is, and this happened a lot in Seattle, Washington, where nobody, and I can totally understand where these people are coming from. Seattle has become a homeless city. Downtown Seattle, back in the 90s, it used to be a great place, but now we have so many people living on the streets. Why? Because every place that you wanted to rent are gone. They're gone because they were all bought up. The city government decided we don't want a bunch of renters here. So we are going to make this area strictly for homes. If you buy a property here, you are not allowed to rent it out. Yeah, you're not allowed to rent it out. This is for families. And so the prices of these houses went way up. Rich people who had the money were able to come in and buy them. And then all the renters who had an opportunity to rent an apartment at a lower price were left out. Just totally left out. This is not the landlords. It's not the wealthy people who own houses. It's the regulations that are put upon them by the city under which they live that forces them to say, okay, I can't rent this out anymore. I'm not allowed to rent it out anymore. I have to sell it. I have to sell it to a family. This happened in Seattle, and the place is a freaking nightmare now. People seem to want to blame rich people. How do you think rich people got rich? By using the government. By using the regulations that the government puts in place. And why do they put them in place? Because rich people pay them to. Yeah? They pay them to. What's good for them. And so sure, yeah, I would really like you to vote this way on this certain bill. And actually, I would also love to give some contributions to your next campaign. Now, without these people in government controlling this, the rich people wouldn't have a chance. Because they don't have, as somebody says, the monopoly of the use of force, do they? A landlord can't force you to move into his place. However, the government can force you to do whatever the fuck they want. Interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to chat about that with you. I've never really had that conversation before. And that's great. Yeah. Now, here's something else that I found going in the States. We all hear about these, right to these open up the businesses back up, open them up. We need to stop this social distancing and whatnot. And I've said this before that if you're going to go to one of these protests, then great, go to one of these protests. That's great. I think they're fine. I think that's great. But if you live in the U.S., why do you have to go to the protest with a gun? Why? What are you protesting anyway? Gun rights or these stay-at-home, rules and laws and regulations? You know exactly what it's going to make you look like. And you know exactly what it's going to make your organization look like. It's going to make you look like a bunch of goddamn rednecks. But here it is. We have a right-wing militia groups in Michigan plan to rally at the state capitol building on Thursday to protest Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer's stay-at-home orders that she put in place to slow the deadly spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Thursday's demonstration will be the latest in a series of protests that started as a demonstration against a lockdown policy, but are now generating fears of an eruption of political violence. Okay. We've already seen this. I told you this was going to happen a long time ago. As soon as New York came out and said we've just hired 1,000 or we're placing 1,000 police officers on a social distancing patrol, what happened? Heads were being beat, violent arrests. Somebody ended up getting shot. It's quite clear that's going to happen. And now we've got a bunch of armed militia heading to the state capitol to protest. And it makes no difference if you are in the right. It makes no difference if you are in the right. If you're walking down the park and you are a registered gun owner and you have your gun on you, and if you see a police officer beating somebody and you shoot that cop, you know what's going to happen to you? These guys are going to be made to look like idiots. And the news media is going to eat them alive. Totally. And whatever points that they had are going to be overshadowed by the fact that they came there with guns. Yeah. Let me take a look here. By sitting back and collecting rent, so you want to blame the government and think the wealthy are free of blame? That's silly. No, it's not. I don't understand why it's silly. Be a little bit more articulate. Tell me why it's silly. I'm confused. Why do people hate the rich so much? Because they did something? Because they have something that others do not? Why are they free of blame? Do I believe that there are some slimy, disgusting landlords out there? Absolutely, I do. I'm sure there are landlords out there who try to get the most from what they have. And they run a really shitty, rental agency or whatever you want to have. They have a building and they rent homes in it. I'm sure there are some out there. But let's put the blame where it belongs and put it on those individuals, not the whole group of people. You can't stand there and you can't sit there and say all wealthy people are evil. I mean, we are individuals, correct? Do you mean that all poor people are wonderful? That all poor people are great? You're going to have to be a little bit more articulate. They aren't evil. How do you know they're not evil? How do you know? I mean, let's talk about the individual. We're talking about individual people. A landlord. Somebody who bought a house when they were young. No, I want to talk about this. They bought a house when they were young. And then they got married. And they wanted another house. So, in order to pay off that other house that they just bought, they're going to rent out the first house that they had, which helps them pay off the mortgage on the new house that they just bought. And things to be working okay with that. Yeah, their renter is getting what they asked for. A house at a price that they could afford. the landlord is also getting what he asked for, money in exchange for someone living in his house, and he is able to pay off his rent. They are both getting what they wanted. Oh, people who are trying to buy a house has to deal with inflated values due to a low demand. Sure, absolutely. The real estate market is a nightmare. I mean, the prices of houses. Now, again, a lot of times we determine all of this information based on where you live. Yeah, based on where you live and the real estate values within that area. Yeah. So, I mean, I look at the place where I live right now. It's unbelievable. The prices are freaking ridiculous. They're astronomical. There's no way in hell I can stand there and look at this house here, whatever house it may be, and actually justify the price that this person is asking for. No way in hell. It's unheard of. Yeah, there could be multiple reasons. And the one main reason is the market. People value this area. The house itself is nothing special, but because it's in this zoning area, it's close to this, it's close to that, and has a what else? Yeah. The market is shit because of the amount of landlords. They definitely contribute to it. It depends on where you live. Again, it depends on where you live. It really does. I mean, in your area, that might be the case. It might be the case. In Washington State, where I am from, you drive up to Seattle and you are going to pay the average price in Seattle, $1.4 million, $1.2 million for a house. You get in your car and you drive south. And you're looking at, you drive for an hour commute, yeah? And you're looking at, $300,000. Why is that? Because people want to live in Seattle. And so the value of the property is higher there. Yeah, it's higher. Yeah, exactly. And because cities, they have the income is much higher there. The cost of living is much higher there. But also you have higher opportunities there. So it's somewhat all connected. Yeah? I think it's all connected. I mean, it's funny, the place where I live, we have 2 buses a day. 2 buses a day. One in the morning, one in the evening. If you don't have a car, you're fucked. We have no subways here. That's it, We have no stores. It's a village. It's a frickin' village. It is a village with 11 houses in it. Centrally located, drive, 20 minutes in one direction, you're in a big city, 20 minutes in the other direction, you're in a big city. But the village itself is tiny. We have no stores, nothing, absolutely nothing. 11 houses, that's it. GM and Ford making everyone need to have a car by advertising as having freedom. Yeah, well, okay, companies use that all the time. You ain't free until you've had our beer. One sip of our beer and you understand that you've never been free before. Well, I don't know, who knows, Who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to discount it. This is something that I've never heard before, but, maybe you've done some research on this. So I can't really say anything about it, Does it make sense to me? Sure. Yeah, I guess. It kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, here we got this great car, and people can drive hundreds of miles on it. And, oh, wait a minute. Why do they need to drive? We've got to give them a reason to drive. So, I know. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Oh, there we go. Conspiracy. Okay, it's a conspiracy. But you know what I say about conspiracies? If you don't know what I say about conspiracies, I'll tell you. History is usually always on the side of the conspiracy theorist. During their, banter, as they're telling this to people, other people look at them like they're lunatics. But give them time, and usually the conspiracy turns out to be true. Maybe not in 100%, but more often than not, more of it turns out to be true than not. I think Edward Snowden kind of proved that point very starkly, no? So, okay, well, that's it for me this evening. Thick Zeke. Am I saying that right? Thick Zeke. Great talking to you. I hope to see you again. If you like whatever I said here, or if any part of it entertained you, or, follow me, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. I'm on here pretty much twice a day, usually. Sometimes not, but sometimes. But yeah, I will definitely check it out. In fact, I'm going to click on the link right now, and I'm going to save that. And maybe I'll talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that next time. General Motors streetcar conspiracy from Wikipedia. The notion of General Motors streetcar conspiracy emerged as General Motors and other companies were convicted of monopolizing the sale of buses and supplies. All right. Okay. It sounds good, man. Maybe that will be the what I'm going to talk about next. So that's great. Sounds awesome. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and subscribe to me or follow me here on let's see, I'm on Twitch and on YouTube. I don't know which platform you're watching on right now. So, but hit me up next time, and that'd be great. And it was great to be able to talk back and forth and get different opinions, man. This is exactly what the purpose of this is. Yeah, to listen to other people's thoughts, and hopefully people out there look at this the same way I do, and knowing that, hey, man, I don't know everything. I am open to learning new things. And I am not so cemented in my ways that my ears are so shut to common sense, or even just to think, okay, God, maybe what I was thinking wasn't actually correct all that time. Maybe this individual does have a point. And that makes me think even more, just like Mr. Zeke or Mrs. Zeke did just now. General Motors streetcar conspiracy. I will check it out. So, okay, until next time, take care and wish you well.